forward to a great year.
It's the Mississippi Economic Council, MEC. We are the State Chamber of Commerce. We're an organization of businesses throughout the state that really are designed to look at several key factors that help grow Mississippi: economic development, business climate, education, workforce development. So all of those things, all these people come together as an organization to do that, and it really is a big factor in us being successful is that we have businesses from the coast all the way to the Tennessee line, east, west, all over the state that are part of MEC. Today is our annual meeting. It's our 67th annual meeting. MEC was formed in 1949, and today it's a chance for everyone to come together and do two things. One, network with people that they don't get to see all the time because people are coming in from all over the state. Secondly, we have 2 morning sessions focusing on economic development, both at the local smaller town community, plus some economic developers that are going to talk about how do you land that big plant, such as the most recent announcement of Continental Tire and Topship. So it's really a little bit educational and a lot of entertainment. Our keynote speaker at our luncheon today is a guy by the name of Jamie Clark. Jamie is a self-proclaimed adventurepreneur. He's an entrepreneur who loves to do adventures. He has scaled Mount Everest twice. He's done the summit of all of the 7 summits. He's climbed to the peak of each of them. So, I mean, really interesting. And, of course, Mississippi's own Dorothy Moore, who's famous for Misty Blue, will provide special entertainment at the end of it. So just a great day and a great opportunity for people to come out and not only learn a little bit, but also get a chance to network and get some great entertainment.
We're really looking forward to a great year. And of course, in just a minute now, we're looking forward to a great presentation by the top economic developer for Mississippi, the guy who says he wants to find a job for everyone in Mississippi, whether they want one or not. It's our governor, who absolutely reaches out every chance he gets to convince people to come and locate their business here in Mississippi so that we can provide good-paying jobs for the STAR students who are going to be graduating from college and wanting to come home to this great state. He's here today with his wife, Deborah, the First Lady of Mississippi. Please join me in welcoming the governor of the great state of Mississippi, the Honorable Phil Bryant.
Thank you. Uh-oh. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. You know, as I talked to David as he was leaving the stage a moment ago and passing on that chairmanship, I said it's like buying that boat, 2 best days of your lives when you get rid of it. What a remarkable job he has done. And Robin, I think you can tell, is going to be just as strong a leader as David and add to a little bit of that excitement. We had to get a guy from Delaware a couple of years ago. It seems like it's been about 15, Blake, to come in and get us excited. Now think about that. There's no one that believes in Mississippi, that articulates a vision for Mississippi, that brags on Mississippi any more than my friend Blake Wilson from Delaware. Blake, thank you for your hard work. Now I know you've got exciting speakers ahead of you, so he told me to be brief, and I will do so no matter how long it takes. I thought about writing some headlines this morning. You know, occasionally I see headlines and I agree with them, occasionally. But I thought, what if we could write, what if MEC could write some headlines? What would they look like? Well, some of them would involve the leadership in the Mississippi legislature who went beyond the call to support the good business practices that we needed to help move Mississippi forward, to have a transformational Mississippi. So I want to thank the Speaker and the Lieutenant Governor and their teams. But some of the headlines, if MEC got to write them, if I got to write them, they'd look like this. They'd probably be in a top 10. Might as well go ahead and do that. So one of the top 10 would be Mississippi invests $50 million in workforce training and lowers unemployment tax on businesses. Y'all seen that letter? Y'all seen that, haven't you? Seen that out there? No? Okay, well, here's another one. State gains over 4,000 jobs and $1.5 billion in investment announced in 2016. That'd be a good headline. A good headline might be Mississippi leads the nation with the #1 economic development project in the Southeast, Continental Tire, and the 4th best economic development project in the Southeast, the Top Shelf. That'd be a great headline. #1 deal in southeastern United States, Continental Tire. It's huge. A headline might be Mississippi unemployment dropping and Northeast Mississippi posts lowest jobless rates in a decade. I'd love to read about that. I actually did see that one reported. Another headline might be Mississippi reforms foster care system. Child Protection Agency budget increased by $33 million. Folks, you want to talk about transformational Mississippi? Transforming that foster care system is critical to our children that need us most. The Mississippi legislature stepped up and helped do that. Another great headline might be Mississippi expands public charter schools. More students will benefit. Indeed, they will. This is something that we agree on across party lines in areas all across the United States, from the White House to the governor's office to the legislature, is expanding more public charter schools for more students in need. I'd love to see this one. Mississippi's 4th graders lead the nation in NAEP scores, our national testing scores. The National Education Testing Scores, Mississippi's 4th graders led the nation in their advances. Not the narrative that you often hear about our students, and particularly those that these star students are here today. Our future 4th graders will follow them into that. Another headline might be Mississippi high school graduate rate rising, dropout rate declines. For the first time in many years, we have seen more students graduating from Mississippi's high schools than ever before. As National Chairman of Jobs for American Graduates and Jobs for Mississippi Graduates, I am particularly proud of that. Mississippi ends elected superintendent, state chamber leads the way. Did you hear that headline? Mississippi ends electing school superintendents. Blake and I have been working on this with many of you here for almost 20 years. To take the political dynamic out of a superintendent of education in a local district so that we could get the very best. Now, many of them are doing a good job, elected superintendents, but the dynamic of the political system within our educational system is not beneficial. With your help, the Mississippi legislature took that bold step this year, and superintendents will be appointed. Finally, if I can get this to work, this is something that is new that we might see for the first time in a headline. Mississippi selected as most innovation education state in America. All right, we're going to get it here in a minute. Is it up? All right, if you see on our screen, the Frank Newman Award for State Innovation by the Education Commission of the States. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain to you what this is. Each year there's one state selected for education innovation above all others, above all 50 states in the District of Columbia. This year's award recipient, I'll be in Washington, D.C. in June to receive this for the most innovative state in America for education, is your state of Mississippi. Now, that's something we should be very, very proud of. The First Lady and I are about to leave and go to Louisville, Mississippi. 2 years ago, 23 tornadoes, at least 23 tornadoes touched ground in this state. 2 years ago, on this date, we lost 14 Mississippians, 10 in the Louisville area. We are going there to break ground and to celebrate the new opening of the Winston Medical Center. 2 years later, we're building a new hospital there. The Winston Plywood and Veneer is open, and we will dedicate it very soon, one of the largest plywood veneer companies in the southeastern United States, in Winston County. They are Winston strong. After that devastating tornado struck and destroyed their town and much of their community, they are back. That is the spirit of Mississippians, and we are going there with them to help celebrate that. Blake, thank you, and thank you all of you for being here. Oh yeah.
All right, Governor, we can't have you leave just yet. This workforce bill was huge. 450 MEC members around the state faxed in their call saying we've got to have workforce reform. We've got to be able to compete with South Carolina, with Georgia, with Alabama, and with Louisiana. And we were behind the curve. But thanks to the leadership of the governor, our Lieutenant Governor Tate Reeves, our Speaker Philip Gunn, this bill got passed, and we now have a better system than all of those, teaming with the #1 community college system in America, right here in Mississippi. So what we did was we cut the red tape with this legislation, and now we're going to ceremonially cut the ribbon of red tape. And with 1, 2, 3, let's move Mississippi forward. All right, let's do it. All right.
It's a very good day for Mississippi for economic development. The governor talked a lot about the improved data that we're seeing from an economic standpoint as well as from an educational standpoint. We're beginning to see our graduation rates are increasing, our NAEP scores for 4th grade reading and 4th grade math. We're the only state in the country last year that saw a significant improvement, and we know that we can't see long-term economic prosperity unless we improve the educational attainment level of our citizens. And so I had the opportunity to speak to the STAR students and STAR teachers today, and a room full of people, and it's really impressive to see what so many Mississippi kids are doing, and they're really our future, and it's a great, great thing.
Entergy, along with MEC, announced our People Power initiative, and this is an initiative that we're launching here to help with the workforce development efforts throughout the Entergy service territory in Mississippi.
Why did you pick workforce development?
Well, we know that the #1 issue affecting economic development, not only recruiting industries to our state, but helping our existing businesses, is workforce development. We have great job opportunities that exist in our state, but we got to get our workforce, our young people, prepared and qualified for these high-skilled jobs.
Our message was kind of twofold about that no matter how small your community or where you think you are, you can do the right things and begin the work to become successful in economic development. And the other part we talked about was workforce development through an ACT certified work-ready community, how valuable we think that's going to be to us in the Delta.
How key is economic development to your area of Mississippi?
Well, it really is the growth of your community and your area that you always have to have new money coming in to help grow your economy. So it's critical in our minds.
I'm going to talk about the importance of leadership in our respective communities and leadership in our economic development organizations. I'm also going to be talking about the importance of having a well-funded economic development agency at the local level. It's of paramount importance to achieve economic development success. We've got to have the necessary tools in our toolbox to do that. And then we'll be talking about flexibility in the communities and being strategic and how that flexibility and strategy leads to job growth.
Tell us, in your opinion, what are the keys to economic development at the local level?
Well, at the local level, you have to have a well-funded economic development organization. You also have to have the public and private sectors pulling in the same direction, and that cohesiveness and teamwork really leads to our ability to achieve great economic development results.
We're talking about getting our communities involved, and on the power side, we're kind of evaluating where our strengths and weaknesses are among our sites with our infrastructure, and then working with the communities to help them with site readiness to get ready for certain projects coming across the table.
What do you see as key to economic development in Mississippi?
Right now, we're trying to be ready. We're trying to be ready when those projects come, be prepared, have all of our ducks in a row, be ready to show them what we have.
To land the big project, they're totally different projects than the smaller ones. The resources needed, the staff needed, the land, the utilities that are needed. Take the average deal, multiply it by a factor of something, and you'll come up with what it takes to land the big one. They're projects on steroids.
My message was primarily talking about the Continental Tire project, landing in Hinds County, and what it took to land that project from the standpoint of a community being prepared, from teamwork, from the state level down to the community level and the utilities, and what it takes to really put together a deal to win a big project.
What is your advice to economic developers throughout Mississippi to be able to be successful?
I think a couple of things. One is to be aggressive, and you have to know who you are and what you have to offer from an asset standpoint. You have to be aggressive because there's so much competition out there today. And then second is be prepared. You have to have a site in order to compete in today's economy for these types of projects. It's not enough to have a greenfield site and say we'll come back and prepare it. You have to be ready.
When you're looking at our port complex, and a lot of people look at outside states, but we have 16 to 17 shallow draft and deep draft ports. So anybody looking at moving domestic products are going to be able to utilize the Mississippi River ports or the 10 Tom Bigby ports. But ultimately, if you're going to go international, you're going to use the Port of Pascagoula, you're going to use the Port of Gulfport. We're going through a $570 million expansion project right now, which will more than double the capacity, double the capabilities that we have at the port. We're working with global carriers, which will open up Asia, open up the Mediterranean and the Northern European routes. These are routes that we have not had in the past. So now any Mississippi business that's looking at doing business on an export or an import basis is going to have a gateway.
Now to our keynote speaker. You wonder, well, Blake, what were you thinking when you invited a guy who climbs Mount Everest to Mississippi where you can't find any mountains? Well, we have a lot of mountains to climb in Mississippi. They just aren't part of the physical geography. And so when I found Jamie Clark and found that he had climbed Everest 4 times but only succeeded twice, that he had climbed the 6 other major peaks in the world, he had ridden a camel across the Sahara Desert, as well as founding his own successful .com adventure and outdoor equipment company, I said, this has got to be our guy. He hails from Calgary, Canada. He thinks outside the box. He brings us a message today of how we can climb our own mountains and get to the summit of performance. Please join me in welcoming a true adventurepreneur, Jamie Clark.
As a mountain climber and entrepreneur coming here to Mississippi, I really wanted to share with the students and the gathered business leaders idea that, and everybody probably knows, but it's good to be reminded about dogged determination. I didn't get up Mount Everest by giving up, failed twice before I got to the summit. And it's good to remind everybody that a few failures actually build a foundation that leads to success. I've traveled all over the world speaking and attending conferences. I've never seen an event like this where you have the business community across the state coming together, but combining it with really the future leaders. And to put on such a big event, it's impressive. And it's easy to say, oh, this is great, but legitimately what's being done here, it's pretty visionary, and you can see by the crowd and the energy. I think a lot of people got a lot of value out of here, myself included.
On stage here is a Grammy nominee. She hails from Jackson. She's been all over the world performing. She is the incomparable Miss Dorothy Moore. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. I'm a Mississippian. I'm very proud to say that. But as far as that Grammy, I call it the Hollywood Comes to Mississippi. And so that's a great thing, and it's a great thing to be proud of. We can hold our heads up. I tell you, it is beautiful, and I think I'm in there somewhere. You can find me in there. I was nominated for 4 Grammys, I'm proud to say. And it's beautiful, and it's always wonderful to come back home and perform.
What potential does the Grammy Museum in Mississippi have?
Oh, I guess bringing people from all over the world, and from what I understand, a great majority of the Grammy Award winners are from Mississippi. Winners and nominees, a great number of them. And we'll get people from all over the world. It's just wonderful.
What's it like to perform in front of 2,000 people here at the MEC annual meeting?
Well, to come home especially, it is wonderful. I love doing that. I don't get a chance to be at home and perform, and it's just wonderful to be with family. And I get to travel all over the world and perform with this size of an audience, and as much as 20,000. And if it was just one, I'll try to do my very best.
What a great day. Beautiful outside, a lot of energy in the room. We are here celebrating, look, just amazing audience, amazing speakers. Just couldn't be happier. The students, that are here with their parents. It's just a fantastic day for Mississippi. Truly the best and brightest are here.
Our theme this year for the Mississippi Economic Council is Transforming Mississippi. The Mississippi Economic Council, lovingly known as MEC, we have members across the state. We have over 11,000 folks in our organization, and what we do is we work with our community leaders, our business leaders to transform Mississippi. That's our theme for this year, Transforming Mississippi. So we look forward to making a difference in education. We work in education. We work with the STAR students, STAR teacher. We also work with the Mississippi Scholars Program, the Tech Master Program. So we're really excited about the difference that we're making in Mississippi in education. We're making great strides. We also work with economic development, making sure our state is a great place for businesses to come and that our existing businesses can grow and flourish. So we've got a great program of work, and we're going to be transforming our state.
Economic development's a team sport, and it takes everybody, and MEC plays a vital role in really putting a lot of things together. They're the ones that really bring people together, like you're seeing here. This is a diverse group from all over the state, and diversity in every sense, and we're here together making Mississippi move forward.
MEC is one of our partners. We appreciate them putting this event together. We expect them being a champion for economic development throughout the state. You know, I represent a 3-county area. A lot of my peers represent smaller areas. This gives us a statewide footprint, statewide exposure, and statewide influence.
It is so important for the business community to step up and play a major role in effectuating positive legislation, working with the legislature. It's important for the public and private sectors to be on the same page so that we can send the right message to the outside world, to site selection consultants and major corporations who are looking to invest in the Deep South and hopefully in Mississippi.
Oh, it's a great event. I've been coming for 5 years, and I continue to learn from those I meet and the networking, but just the information that Blake and his staff brings together is just really a good learning experience for us.
What is the value of membership in MEC?
Oh, it's just unsurpassed. I mean, for what few $100s you put into it, you get way more out of it. So we recommend that to anyone who's considering joining the MEC as a member. I'm very excited. It was so great to see our state legislature step forward and fund a major initiative for workforce, a $25 million initiative. And this is just our part of how we can show the private sector what we can do to also support that effort.
Support, a lot of people ask, what are you doing up here? Are you truly involved in economic development? We're involved in economic development on the water. So utilizing MEC really as our mouthpiece with the legislature, working through the incentive program and the large economic development program and the bill and ultimately the law that was signed into place just this past February, which allowed and authorized the bonds being issued and the project for Continental Tire was absolutely critical to have MEC in place. We were part of that as well. We had a $68 million program by bringing in an oil and gas company out of Louisiana. So you're looking at a program that was about $275 million deep with bonds and incentives. MEC played a critical role in making sure that they got to the legislators, worked the halls of the Capitol, making sure that they were advocating for us, and that ultimately has allowed us the opportunity to get that put in place.
Today has been an exciting day. This is our annual meeting where about 2,600 folks joined us, and it's been a great day. We heard from a motivational speaker, and what he does is climb mountains, and he climbed to the top of Mount Everest. And he shared with us that when you can work through fear, move through fear, it gives you freedom. Freedom to make the right choices and freedom to grow, freedom to learn. So I'm excited about that message, not only for myself, but for MEC.
We had some really major victories with the legislature this year. One is our workforce development bill that was, we have created a Mississippi Works Fund, which is designed to dedicate dollars for workforce training for new jobs, retention of jobs, and job certification. That's big because what it will do is it will now provide a year-over-year funding as long as we can in order to put those dollars toward workforce development for training Mississippians to do the jobs of the future. So that's number one. The way it's structured, it works with the unemployment tax. There will also be a little bit of a tax break as well as creation of this fund, and the fund is protected so that the unemployment trust fund never, is always solvent. But secondly, a major issue that MEC started working on about really 40 years ago in the 1970s, appointed superintendents. Mississippi was one of only 3 states that still had appointed superintendents, and a good number of those appointed superintendents were right here in Mississippi. And we believe that in order to improve education, it all starts with leadership. And now school districts have the ability to go outside of the county lines, which is what they were restricted to if they had to elect their superintendent, and find the best possible leader. So we had 2 major victories there. Going forward, we still have work to do. Transportation, which is an issue that we have been working on for the last almost 2 years now, completed an 18-month study back in December that shows we really have to focus on some of our issues facing transportation. That issue is still hanging. We're still looking for solutions, working with the legislative leadership to try to find the funding necessary to begin to address this issue, to fix the roads and bridges, to make sure that Mississippians have a safe, reliable system that will create real jobs and real opportunities. So that's really at the forefront of what we have moving forward. And then, of course, we'll continue to look for ways to improve our business climate here in the state.
Your reaction to everything that you've seen and heard here today?
Well, this is always it's our largest event that we do each year. We, in addition to the MEC members being here, our star students, MEC's recognizes through the Star Student Program that's part of our programs, the top student in each high school throughout the state, and they will be here. They'll be part of our luncheon today. So when you have that many people here, a couple thousand people, with not only our current leadership of the business world, but our future leadership of the business world, it's really a great day.
If people have questions like more information, what should they do?
MEC.ms is our website, just MEC.ms, and all the information about what's going on around the state, plus all the information about what MEC does and how you can be a part of it is right there.